Why would you do that? That's not a very. Why is this happening? Sorry, everybody. But to mess around with things, I don't know why this is. This? No. No. Why is this happening? Ah, okay. There we go. Okay. Hey everybody, Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast on this Sunday evening. We're doing it on Sunday because we're not available tomorrow, and it's going to be the last podcast of the year. So, with me, as always, we have my co-host Peter Ray Allison.
Good evening, everyone.
Right, no guest tonight.
No guest. The guest is the year. Is the guest. 2023 is our guest.
2023 is our guest. So yeah, we're just gonna have a quick sort of kind of quick chat about 2023. What's been going on? What's been occurring? What's good? What's bad? And then Pete's going to be providing a little article of our sort of best of 2023 for the website, which should be coming up in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, next couple of days, it's going to be kind of like the best of 2023. Like each of them, Geek Prize is going to kind of hammer out a few words of saying what for them was their best film, their best TV show, the best event. It's kind of like the Oscars, but without the lovies, you know.
Right. Okay. So, how's 2023 been for you, Pete?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more stuff happening now. It's things are getting back to normal. We are getting stuff out there. And I think it's like to be a geek right now is fantastic. There's so much stuff out there, be it books, films, TV shows, events, whether into fantasy, horror, science fiction, whatever. There's something out there for you, and there's going to be a lot of it. So I think, yeah, it's been a good year to be a geek.
Okay, so I feel like we're going to be encroaching upon your article slightly, but we might as well.
Slightly, yeah.
We might as well. But what has been your? Well, actually, in fact, maybe we'll just do it this way. We'll go through. I'll sort of Google the like sections, so we'll have games and we'll have films and stuff like that, and we'll go through some of them and just say, you know, what we've seen and what we thought was good and what we thought was bad, and then we can go with that. So let me just do this. Okay, so films wise, it's been a fair few. It doesn't feel like in my mind, like I go to the cinema quite regularly, with like a group of guys, like I know, and I like I can't feel like there's been a film that I've watched this year that I went, oh my god, that was amazing. There's been some good films, but there's not been anything that's blown my socks off. So I'd be interested. What have you watched?
Okay, well, I mean, I have got 3 children, so my opportunities for me to go and see a film are few and far between. So that caveat out of the way, I did go and see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I've not seen that yet, and
it's a lot of fun. It's not the greatest Indiana Jones films. That's still Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, or possibly Raiders of the Lost Ark. But it's not the worst either. It's by no means Crystal Skull or Temple of Doom. And that had a very dark tone, which didn't really fit Indiana Jones's epic high adventure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I said it's a perfectly acceptable Indiana Jones film, and as a finale, a conclusion for the character, brilliant. The last few scenes, you will be welling up. You will well up. I mean, this is a film I've grown up with. I mean, you say like it was Star Wars, that's for you was kind of your film. It's almost like Indiana Jones for me.
So does it have a sort of what's it called, Last Jedi sort of like culmination of the entire franchise sort of thing going on?
not a culmination of the entire journey. Like, it doesn't take all the story arcs because there's not really one from the Indiana Jones film, but it does kind of just bring an end for the character,
Okay.
but without. And I apologize if this is spoiling, but without killing the character,
Like
because
killing.
that would have they don't kill him. Because I think you can, it's to kill off Indiana Jones would just be wrong. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense, it would be wrong. Like Indiana Jones is a franchise, for want of a better term, sold on high adventure, hijinks, high adventure. The hero always coming out like the one fist punch where you kind of knock someone out with a single punch. That to kill off that character is kind of goes against the grain of the genre.
I hadn't had it like I love Indiana Jones. Growing up, it was all about the Temple of Doom. For me and my brother and sister, that was our sort of film. And then Last Crusade, and Temple of Doom, we loved, absolutely loved. The Raiders of the Lost Ark was quite, the bit at the end where the
The
guy's
melting face.
face melts off.
Yeah,
For kids, it was pretty like, oh my god, that's kind of scary. But
yeah,
yeah,
it was. I couldn't watch that as a kid.
but after Crystal Skull, I watched Crystal Skull in the film in the cinema, and I didn't hate it, but I was just like, yeah, I think Indiana Jones is, it's done. So I was
Yeah,
just,
there was that kind of unspoken element that was this kind of passing on the baton of the Indiana Jones to a new generation, and they didn't, thankfully, because Mutt as Indiana Jones would not have worked. It so. I mean, Indiana Jones is as much Harrison Ford as Harrison Ford plays Indiana Jones. They are kind of very much entwined.
all right, well, it's on my list to see at some point in time, but like,
It's on Disney Plus at the moment.
oh, okay, right, I
So
might give that a whirl actually.
it's give it a watch. You will not be disappointed. It's like I say, it's not the best. It's not the worst.
All right, okay. And have you got a film that what was your best of 2023?
Totally killer.
That.
It was Amazon Prime horror film, and it's um
Oh
Halloween.
yeah.
Halloween meets Back to the Future. Basically, a girl goes back in time to 1987 to stop the murders that of her mother's friends. Very, very, and but it's done really well. Very right script. 90-minute long, really tightly written, and it kind of plays with the cultural differences between 1987 and 2023. Like just like going like they go like, dude, you can't do that. That's like super problematic. I mean, in
Oh, it's
many
got the
ways,
mom. It's got the mum from. It's got the mum from. What's it called? That comedy series. Oh my god. Um,
friends.
My family? No, it's not my
Well,
family. No, what's the one with the with? Oh my god, that's gonna right.
but
That's gonna
yeah,
annoy
but
me now.
but yeah, it's really. I mean, in many ways, actually, the lead female reminds me of a Greek pride's Laura. Just
Really?
her way of speaking. Just kind of that's a very Laura thing.
Right, I'm gonna have to find where is she? Ah, there it is. She is. And I'm gonna find out that she was in. Oh, she was in Modern Family. That's it. My Modern Family. That's Happy Gil.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's a very known script. It's very rarely done. There's a lot of fun to it. I mean, they don't hold back from the horror.
I thought it
Like
was. I thought it was a comedy when I
it is.
first.
Oh, it is comedy, but it's also horror.
Ah, right. Okay. Right. So
It's
it's got an edge to it. Right. Okay.
very, very, a distinct bite.
Right.
A
Because it's
distinct.
got yeah, it's got Randall Park in it. Who
Yeah,
does and so I saw that and I was just like, yeah, this is going to be a comedy. This isn't going to be horror, but is it
it is
horror on the same sort of level in that, well, like a British horror, so like Dog Soldiers or something
very
like.
much so. Yeah, I mean, like the girl can't remember her name top of my head. I apologize. Kind of finds these two police officers. He's saying, "Guys, have you seen Back to the Future?" No, God, this is what's happened to me. I am Back to the Future, and there's going to be a murder tonight. There's going to be killed this person, and the guys are looking at it going, dude, yeah, like the super time travel movies are so dumb. It's like they make no logical sense. And it's like, oh, it's very knowing and really nice. I mean, the script writer is really was firing all cylinders. So if you get a chance to watch it, do watch it. You will not be disappointed.
Okay. Um. So I've watched a fair few films this year. Like I said, myself and a few
You saw,
friends.
saw Napoleon, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we saw that recently. I put a review up. We can talk about that, but I'll do that at the end because I will yabber on for a long time because it's a history thing, and unfortunately, that sort of sets me with history. I'm going to try to go through some of these films that I've seen quickly. Now, I didn't see the creator. But I had some friends see it, and they didn't rate it at all, which was weird because it looks like a film that
Yeah,
would like be really good. But like, I had three friends who went to see it, and they this. It's like okay, so I've not had any major sort of inclination to
yeah.
go and watch it. Now, if anybody disagrees, by all means, let us know.
Let's know.
Let us know. I haven't seen Barbie yet. I've not
Yeah,
seen.
right.
I've not seen Barbie. In fact, I'm going to share the screen with. You can see what I'm looking at. So yeah, so we got a list of these. These are the popular films from 2023. So we're gonna have a quick shifty down here. So let's look. We've got. um, I saw. So we didn't see that. I didn't see Barbie. I did see Oppenheimer. Now Oppenheimer would be my film of 2023. Not to say that I was amazeballs. Like I wasn't like it was. It's a Christopher Nolan film, so you
Yeah,
know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get good. You're gonna get good sort of
fantastic
yeah,
cinematography.
you're going to get a really nice score. You're going to have good actors, and it had all of that. It was really good, but I, I, I don't know. It didn't blow me away, and it's not like I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it at that time and stuff. But yeah, it was really good, and it would be my film of 2023 just because I don't think it's been a strong year for films. As much as there's been a lot of films, like Dungeons and Dragons came out. I really enjoyed Dungeons and Dragons. I thought I thought
Yeah.
it was great. But you know, I couldn't sort of put it up there as a sort of name. And again, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out. That was
That
quite
was that was a good film. That was a
yeah,
very good
it was a
film.
good film, and the sort of the angle with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, with the whole sort of animal cruelty thing was quite, you know, it pulled
That
the
was
heart.
powerful.
Yeah,
That was
it was
really
very
powerful.
powerful, and I
I
think it was
couldn't. I mean, I couldn't watch that with my daughter. I mean, my daughter's like 15 now, and she, you know, I wouldn't. Well, she wouldn't get upset of it. I know she wouldn't like it, seeing like such animal cruelty. I mean, obviously it was all CGI, but still, it was very effective CGI.
oh yeah, definitely. I find myself sort of tearing up a bit with it and stuff, and yeah, so it was enjoyable. Again,
And also the music was spot
yeah,
on.
but that's James Gunn always good when it
True,
comes. James
but
Gunn,
they had We Care a Lot just land at the perfect
yes,
moment.
it did,
I
it
was just
did.
like, yes, absolutely.
So yeah, like you know, I say we didn't have a good year. Obviously, we had Dungeons and Dragons, which was really good. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was really good. Quantumania, I was,
Oh no, no, it
I
was just
yeah, it was okay.
it. It wasn't even that.
Uh,
It was bland. I mean, I'd say it's something that so all the CGI on screen, but it just felt like I was watching a video game cutscene rather than a cinema, rather than
yeah,
a big budget film, and it just felt Marvel by the numbers.
yeah. Well, see that's one of the things I said because we'll get on to Loki afterwards and stuff. But like Quantumania, because they obviously tie in with each other. But Quantumania for me was the Marvel film where I went, okay, maybe Marvel's at its day
Yeah.
now. It's like it's not bad, it's enjoyable, but I'm not getting that, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, like mind blown sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
Um and then that view was quite quickly changed when Loki came out, because I came
Yeah.
sort of, obviously we're moving from films to TV here quickly, but I wasn't overly that bothered about Loki when it sort of came out for the second season. I was like, I don't know. Not like it's like Marvel burnout. I'm like, there's so much Marvel stuff coming out, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm slightly burnt out, but Loki just showed how good they could still be. Like it was like it's the one thing I think I got really I could be really excited about. It was just like the ending was great, the acting was amazing, the whole storyline, the whole thing was just, oh, it's amazing. It was so well done. I was so impressed
That
with
it
it.
was very well done, and like also brought the whole Loki arc to this was the end of Loki, and it kind of brought it back to the mythic elements of the Asgardians and what it meant. I mean, it went from Loki being a trickster god to Loki being the god of time,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess
maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
I mean, the ending is very subjective. You can read into
Oh,
it
by
what
the
you
way,
will.
spoiler warnings if you haven't watched it. You should have watched it, but
We've just spoiled it. Sorry, but
yeah.
if you haven't watched it, watch it. I mean, the ending is very mythic. It's very open to interpretation, but that is what Loki is. I mean, he is a mythic character. I mean, we go back right to the roots of where the origins of Loki. He is mythic. So I'm glad they brought that back to the fore.
So back to sort of other things. So obviously Oppenheimer was really good. Dungeons and Dragons obviously was really good. Some of it's filmed in Carrickfergus, just where I'm from in Northern Ireland. So it was quite good to see the castle and stuff, and some of the bits we recognise. Um, then we had I just this one just came up because I think it was a Netflix film, but the Bank of Dave was quite a feel good film, and I kind of like those sort of
Okay.
like low budget film. It's basically based on it's a chap who ran a business. He runs a business in, say, Bradford, something like that. Or it's along those lines. It's one of those northern
Yeah.
sort of cities, and or Leeds maybe. I don't know, top of my head, but anyway, it's based on a true story. This fella then gives loans to struggling businesses and stuff, his
Oh,
own money
nice.
to people, and then he basically thought, well, instead of doing it where I'm just lending people money and they're paying me back, why don't I just set up my own bank and have a way of being able to support the community. And it's just about his struggle with that, and having big businesses in London sort of come after him and stuff like that. I'm not sure how much of that is actually real, but
Yeah.
it was quite a feel good film, and I do like a feel good film. I do
Yeah,
like a film that sort of.
they have the place. They have the place. I mean, when you're in the bin a bit down, just kind of putting on a feel good film is exactly what you need.
What else have we got? So we got. I didn't realize there was another I knew there was another Expendables film coming out, but I didn't
I've
realize
never seen any of them.
You've
I've
never
never
seen any of
seen.
them. Um,
Again, it's just. I mean, I like my action movies. I really like action movies, but I like the action movie. I like choreography. I like martial arts stuff. I mean, I do martial arts every week, and so the Expendables films and just never really appealed to me. I like stuff like District B13.
yeah,
If I watch that, that's my kind of action film.
I'd say
So
they're not sort of like, they're bad in an old school parody sort of
yeah,
80s film way and
they're
stuff, and like,
very much kind of a callback to the 80s action,
yeah,
aren't they?
and like they're watchable. You're not gonna get you get what you get with them and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's enjoyable in their own sort of kind of weird way. Oh, I forgot. There we go. John Wick 4. That's what I should have said.
I have seen that one. That was a very good film. It
Oh,
was.
you're
I
gonna
will
have to
say
change my thing you're gonna have to change my my thing. I forgot John Wick 4 came out this year. Okay, that is my favorite film of
I will
2023.
say one thing. It's about 3 hours long or something like that.
Yeah,
It
John Wick.
never.
I
It's a
love it.
long film, but it doesn't. you don't get bored. There's always something really interesting to watch on
I'm
screen.
so annoyed with myself. I remember, but that was the one film. Like I just thought that's amazing. Like there's sort of
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to I'll send you something new for my top film and stuff, but for 2023. But yeah, John Wick. Like I love the John Wick films. Like I remember watching. No, I remember being told about the first one and not being that interested because I was like, it's Keanu Reeves and I'm it's just gonna be like a Matrix type thing, and I wasn't really that bothered. And then the second one was coming out, and I think my girlfriend at the time wanted to watch it, and I was like, I guess I'll go and watch the first one. Seen the second one,
Mm.
and then I watched the first one and went, oh my god, this was absolutely amazing. And then the second one, I was like, oh my god, this is good. And they've done it so well because you've got 4 films and they are equally as good.
I still prefer the first one. For me, the first one is the top. And I mean, I like the world building of what they do. They kind of built this kind of underground world of assassins and
We see the thing
hitmen.
is there's more to it though, because I was thinking about doing an article on it because there's more to it because they have this sort of feudal system going on where the assassins are for all intents and purposes lord, like the knights and stuff, and you have like table and you have like codes of honor that they have to abide by, and it seems like the civilian populace sort of seem to don't not mind, but they expect this stuff happens because you can see them, they're doing things where they're hurting people and killing people, and nobody seems to really bat an eyelid. There's this very odd sort of thing.
Have you watched the Continental TV series?
Not yet. No, I haven't seen it yet.
That's worth a watch because that adds a bit more to the background. Because at one point there's this police officer investigating a murder, and she's approaching the building, the Continental, and just the police show up and just turn around and just walk away. The officer doesn't know exactly what the Continental is, except she knows there's something up there. But other police officers know what's going on there and said, no, you can't go in there. Yeah. It's worth watching. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad either.
Yeah, but John Wick films I can't, and I think it's just good that because they are timeline wise pretty much after each other. There's no sort of jumps in timeline, and it sort of makes up for the fact he's getting older in real life, but because he's getting more beat up as the time goes on.
There is a time jump between 3 and 4, though, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not a massive time jump though, because
he
obviously falls off a building in 3, so or he gets pushed, he gets shot off a building in 3. There's sort of a little bit of a jump, but it's good because the first 3 films are pretty much back to back, and then the 4th one there's a little bit of a time jump, but it's like you can sort of him getting older as an actor, maybe he's being slightly slower and things like that. You can sort of it ties in with it slightly, and I like that, and I just like I like the fighting's really good. The storyline's great. There's just there's a bit in number 4 where he's fighting up some stairs towards the Notre Dame, and it's just like it's fucking quality. It's so good. It's just the fight scenes, the choreography are just immense, and it's just like and I'm so annoyed with myself that I'm thinking about that because I was sitting there kind of going, what good films have come out in 2023? And I was like, Oppenheimer, I guess, was really good, but John Wick 4 is like. That was a film that I came out of and went, that was freaking amazing. And the fact that they had, again, spoilers if you've not watched John Wick 4 and stuff like that, it's like it sort of infers that he's dead, but we're not 100% sure if he's dead or not, and it's
it's very ambiguous.
It's very ambiguous. So but I loved it. I thought it was really good, and that was a film that I came out of going, that was quality. I really okay. I'm glad I looked at these because I've been really upset with myself. I was like, 2023 wasn't great for films for me. But that was a good one. Okay. What else have we got going on here? I haven't seen the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse yet.
I've got it for my boys. Christmas present. He doesn't know it yet, so no one tell him.
Oh, you mean Santa Claus has got it for it?
Yes.
What else have we got film wise here? Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was good. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously with the all the crap going on with DC and of the fact that James Gunn has taken over DC, and this was pre that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought Blue Beetle was a good for. I reckon had Blue Beetle came out early on before all the Marvel stuff. The problem you've got with Blue Beetle, I think, and we talked about this, is that it sort of has a lot of the stuff you would get sort of like Iron Man. There's a whole Iron Man theme to it,
Yeah.
but there's a
Well,
lot of
it's alien power armor, isn't it?
yeah, effectively, yeah. But you've got this sort of if it had been a film that had come out earlier on before all the Marvel ones had sort of exploded, I reckon it would have done really well and would have been a good sort of like starting point for a lot of things. But because it's come out now and Marvel have pretty much done
15 years later.
Marvel have done pretty much everything. It's not new, even though it's good. It's got good music. The acting's really good. Well, good for superhero films, and you know the story's not too bad either. And you know, we quite enjoyed it, but I think it sort of gets sort of overshadowed by the fact that it isn't anything new when it comes to a superhero type film.
Yeah.
And so it's a shame. But yeah, that was I forgot that wasn't too definitely not a John Wick up at the top there, but yeah, it was quite enjoyable. Where else have we got before we move on? Look through these films here. I definitely saw more films, but I can't really think of anything off the top of. Didn't see The Meg. Didn't see Extraction 2. Oh,
Nope.
I saw 65. There's a film called 65.
With Adam Driver in it.
Yeah, Adam Driver. It's
Adam Driver against dinosaurs.
Yeah, it is Adam Driver, and again, spoiler warnings. You know, it's watchable. Like I watched it on the plane. When I was traveling, I watched it on the plane. But it's pretty much. It's like he is. Like you sort of kind of again spoilers if you don't mind. It's not going to be the end of the world for you. I don't think. I think you can probably guess where it goes. But he is an alien. Well, no, he's. You think it's sort of like he's in the future. His daughter is dying. He basically needs to do some mission, and then he can sort of get the money to save her and stuff. He then there's an accident happens. His ship crashes on a planet, and it turns out no, he's not going to be able to get back to save his daughter. And there's a little girl who crashes with him, and she can't speak English. She speaks another language, and then you soon figure out that you know the planet that he's crashed on is Earth, and this is Earth in prehistoric ages where the dinosaurs were there, and it's about them sort of getting through to try and get to an escape pod, and the bit at the end which sort of kind of confirms that it's Earth is this meteor coming down to hit Earth, obviously the extinction of the dinosaurs, and sort of it's about them escaping from this sort of like meteor that's going to hit the planet and sort of take everybody out and stuff. So technically he's an alien and she's an alien, and Earth is just about to begin its new journey into things. So it was watchable. It's not mind blowing stuff, but it was all right. And what else have we got? I think that's it. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen other things. I'm trying to sort of kind of flick through some of these things, but not really seeing anything on the top of my head that I can see.
Shall we move on to TV then? Shall we move on to TV?
Yeah. Okay, so we said Loki. Loki's definitely one of the things that I really enjoyed for 2023. I thought that was definitely up there. I quite enjoyed the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Fubar.
Yeah. No, not Fubar. It's his basically docu series, which is about him, and there's one with Sylvester Stallone as well.
Okay.
which was really about both of them. So they did the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, and then obviously Sylvester Stallone did one as well. And they're quite insightful. They're really good. The Arnold Schwarzenegger one is interesting because there's a lot about him growing up, and then his relationship with his family. And for all intents, it seemed like his father was a bit harsh on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Potentially violent, and he it seemed to be, it's with both of them. Sylvester Stallone as well. Apparently, his dad was literally like jealous of him and stuff, and there was times when he you'd have to watch it, but it's like there's
Yeah.
both of them have very similar sort of like
Back.
you know backgrounds when it comes to it and stuff. But yeah, they were quite good. I didn't realize Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously he had an affair with his maid, and they had a kid
Yeah.
together and stuff like that, which broke up his relationship. Which his ex was one of the Kennedy was a Kennedy,
Oh.
and that's how he became governor of California through that effectively. But yeah, that was really insightful, really good. It was really enjoyable. And then the Sylvester Stallone one was really good as well. Documentaries, documentary 2023. What's got here? Um, so
Oh yeah.
a lot of document.
There's a lot of documentaries this year.
Well, best documentary movies 23. Um, against who are these? Pamela was a good one. The one about
Yeah.
the Pamela Anderson story. Again,
Yeah.
it was quite interesting. Kind of messed up. But yeah, that was quite a good one. Got here. One, uh, one, and it's basically about. I have to try and find the name. But it was about the lady who was the heiress. I think it was L'Oreal.
Okay.
Um, it's mainly in French because obviously she's the
Yeah.
billionaire, the butler, and the boyfriend. And it's on Netflix, and it's basically about uh the Bencourt. There's like
Benko family.
the Bencourt family, and they. So her father was the founder of L'Oreal. She took it on when he died. She's like one of the richest people in the world, and it's all
Yeah.
about her being manipulated by people, or was she being manipulated? And sort of, there's like a lot of court cases between her and her daughter thinking that she basically was out of her mind and that she's giving money to these people. And this is basically this con man who was going around and on
Mm.
preying
Yeah.
on sort of old women basically and
Yeah.
taking their money and stuff like that. That was quite interesting. It was quite a good one. What else did we have? I've been watching a lot of documentaries. But I'm not sure all came
Yeah.
out, so I'm not sure which if they've come
Yeah.
out this year or not.
One. But the only documentary I really watched this year was 23 Seconds to Eternity.
What was that one?
That was basically, do you remember the KLF?
Yes.
Well, early 90s, late 80s, with house band. Their director, Bill Butts, did all their music videos and some small movies. And what he did was he took all their music videos, all their mini movies, and stitched them all together into one long documentary. It was great. It was basically just Care Left music for 90 minutes. And I mean, there was no narration whatsoever other than the Martin Sheen's voiceover for the Rights of Moo section, which is where basically they recorded this incident, I suppose, best way to put it, where the KLF invited a lot of journalists in the early 90s to come to this remote Scottish island to take part in a burning of a wicker man. And this kind of really kind of ritualistic, and kind of people came on and they were met by Bill Drummond as a customs officer who kind of like took all the alcohol off them and drank it. And they kind of just like put them all in robes, marched them all up to this kind of wicker man that Jimmy Corti had built, and started singing along to it, and then burnt it. And it was, yeah, the yeah, it was delightfully weird. And yeah, I mean, again, it's just like no reason to it, no explanation. It was just, this is what we did 30 years ago. And it was like, yeah, they don't make music videos or like that anymore. They don't have bands like that anymore.
No, no. I just realised that I didn't talk about Napoleon on when it came to films and stuff. But you can check out my review, long and short of it, with me out going into a massive history rant about it. It was watchable, but if you're into your history, you're going to not
cry.
Yeah,
you're gonna cry.
But I think as Joaquin Phoenix has played him, isn't bad. I think he's actually really good, and I like that sort of that they've made him a bit
the
more
portrayal of
fallible.
The character. Yeah, I think the portrayal of the character is, respectful, but like the way the events they're described in the film.
Yeah, it's historically lazy, let's just say.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you look at sort of The Gladiator, which everybody likes because it's quite evocative film. It's got no basis in history whatsoever and stuff. Marcus Aurelius wasn't murdered by Commodus. Commodus, who did fight in the arena, wasn't killed in the arena, and there's loads of stuff. And in fact, Marcus Aurelius sort of planned to have Commodus become emperor and stuff. They were actually twin emperors at one point in time, so there was no need for all that. So they he's very good at sort of kind of playing loose with history. That's what you get with Ridley Scott. You get the big epic sort of feeling, but history suffers quite a lot, which is annoying because some of it is really lazy, and it might. There's the one bit that really fucking annoyed me, whereas there's a bit in the Battle of Waterloo, which is the longest sort of battle scene in the film, and they have the British in field entrenchments, which they weren't. There was no field entrenchments in that battle in the Napoleonic War. It's like they did have like the Battle of Borodino. It would have been made more sense because they had the Great Redan, and which had to be assaulted and taken, which was a field works. But in Waterloo, they didn't have any field works, and you've got basically this British line infantry on their sort of kind of side. There's no real view of it being a hill or anything, but they're there, and you've got these entrenchments with sort of like palisade stakes and stuff flying out there to sort of fend off cavalry. So Napoleon sends the cavalry forward, which he didn't do. It was Ney, but anyway, doesn't matter, fine. He sends it forward, and Wellington stands there and says, "Advance to receive cavalry." And I was like, you're in entrenchments. You're in a defensive position with fucking sticks pointing out. There's no need to move forward. So he moves them forward and changes them into square for no reason other than Ridley Scott thinks, I can have a good shot there with the cavalry charging around the square. Why not just have them in square in the first place? Why didn't you do it historically where it's like Ney charges them forward, he goes over the hill, realizes that they're in square, and then that's the thing. Why did you need to have this really elaborate? And the only reason I think he's had it where they've had these entrenchments is it makes the battlefield look busier, and because he wasn't using a lot of CGI, he could sort of make it look like it was a bigger battlefield. But in general, it was historically lazy, and I was annoyed, and it was just like I'm in a load of Napoleonic sort of history groups and stuff, and everybody takes the piss out of the fact that you had a 95th rifleman with a scope on his rifle. Like he basically had a what's it called, not a telescope, what are it's like a telescope. What do they call them when you're sort of, in the olden days when they had those sort of like scope things? What are they called? Uh,
Um.
what
Oh
a
yeah.
looking like a
Yeah.
looking
Looking
glass,
glass. Looking glass.
looking glass, looking glass,
Not
scope.
periscope. Not
Nope.
periscope.
Um,
Well,
I don't
yeah, I
know.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but basically, yeah. So you've got a 95th rifleman with one of these on the top of his Baker rifle, and it's like tied down so he can see through it, which makes no sense whatsoever. Even within ballistics and stuff like that, it's like you've got a rifle that isn't gonna that's not gonna help you whatsoever. It doesn't have a rangefinder. It's literally just a telescope. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a telescope. It's a fucking telescope on the top of this thing, and it's just like, why did you do that? It made no sense whatsoever, and it was just like, why do it? It's like it's my sort of general pet peeve when it comes to historical drama. Anyway, where they just throw in random shit just because it's that looks cool, but it's like you don't need to because history's cool anyway, and it's just like you don't need that sort of
This is me and hacking
yeah.
and any form of tech. Did you watch Citadel early this year?
No, no, no.
Good. It was massively publicized, and wife and Curly and I watched it. We watched the first half hour, and we spotted a £25 Amazon plot hole in the first 15 minutes. But basically, like this agent's carrying this bag which is meant to have plutonium in it, and like, hang on. Anyone with a Geiger counter could tell there's no plutonium in there. It's like literally like, oh no, we didn't know there was in there. You could
You're
have
gonna have to.
bought
You're
what
gonna have to.
you could have bought one for £25 off Amazon.
You're gonna have to talk quickly.
Literally,
My dog. My dog's kicking off. Bear through a minute. You
okay,
carry on talking.
okay, but yeah, basically you could buy a Geiger counter for £25. Next day delivery as well, so perfect. For £25 and have it sent to you, and that will be able to tell if there's plutonium in the bag or not. The fact that they kind of had it obfuscated by just it's a bag and no one's going to look into it is good. Given these agents that they're up against, they might be a bit more prepared, skilled, equipped with £25 Amazon gag counter.
Yeah.
So
Talking about Amazon. Did you watch the season 3 of Upload?
yeah, what's that?
Again, I was quite feel good, and I like that.
It's a very feel good. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. The writing is a bit all over the place. I think it kind of goes from like, especially characterizations go like the way some of the characters are portrayed go from real widely based purely on what's needed to tell the story rather than having the characters themselves propel the story forward.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, it's fine. It was fun. It kind of expanded a bit more on the world of Upload. But yeah, it's not brilliant, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah, well, I quite enjoy it. I think, and I'm liking your man Amel.
Yeah, he's very good in that role, and the fact that kind of like no, they kind of got two of them running around, and the fact like,
oh yeah, that's for them as well.
And yeah, and kind of like it's kind of they're playing that quite well, and it's really nicely done.
Is it Robbie Amel?
Yeah,
it is Robbie.
Robert.
Yes, Robbie Amel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One more thing of Upload. They had a cameo by William Gibson.
Oh yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, I was watching that and like no, that his face popped up going like, "Look, that's William Gibson!" like jumping up down, and saying, "Okay, look, that's William Gibson. That's William Gibson."
Yeah, again, it's one of those sort of. It has sort of it asks a lot of questions, which I think other films do.
Yeah,
Altered Carbon do the whole thing about duplicating bodies and the whole sort of.
Do you read the original books?
I haven't seen the book. I've not read the books.
Books actually are really good, really, really good. Check them out. The first season of Altered Carbon, brilliant. The second one really wasn't good.
You didn't like it? I've not read the book, so I thought it was okay.
The first scene is very, very good. Joe Kinnaman as Takeshi Kovash was brilliant. He clearly kind of channeled that seething fury that kind of lockdown Stephen Fury that Kovash has. But when they switched actors, it just didn't. They didn't have that same intensity that you do need for a character like Kovash.
Right. But yeah,
Other than that, it was.
yeah,
Sorry.
I think it has lots of sort of things about, I think the main sort of premise before, if you've not watched any of Upload, which you should, because it is enjoyable. Even, it's not going to blow your mind, but it is sort of, it's enjoyable. It's definitely worthy of a watch. But it's sort of like when people die, they can upload their brains, or sort of their memories and stuff
The
into,
consciousness
the
to
consciousness into this basically
a digital
hotel.
afterlife.
Yeah,
A digital
a
afterlife.
digital afterlife, and they basically live in this hotel, and it's quite funny because it's sort of like they basically take people's heads off, and they just sort of kind of like zap their heads, and then it's uploaded into this sort of new world. And it's a hotel, and there's lots of characters in the hotel, and they have these angels who are basically the devs who help them, if they need something, and they can talk to people. So they basically have, the main guy Robbie Amell plays, sort of they have his funeral, and he's watching his own funeral and stuff, and they have like these parties where he is dead but he's not, because he's in this digital afterlife. And there's a whole thing about sort of like rich people can afford more even in the digital afterlife, whereas poor people have this sort of limited
limited bandwidth,
which they can sort of, they can't do very much, or they freeze out. But then people like, so his girlfriend in it sort of can visit him in the afterlife by wearing this big sort of like wetsuit type thing,
VR suit,
this VR suit, yeah. And it's like, but yeah, it's got some really good themes to it, and it is quite enjoyable. It is quite feel good, and they always leave each series with quite a good cliffhanger. So yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Also had Andor this year as well.
Was Andor this year? No.
Wasn't it?
No, because I was watching. No, that was 2022. Because I watched. Yeah, if it was, it would have been definitely up there. It's just like Andor was amazing. Andor was so good. I didn't watch Ahsoka, and I'm sure a lot of people thought it was really good, but I didn't. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't brilliant. It was fun. I enjoyed watching it with my kids. Yeah, definitely the standouts was Ray Stevenson as Balin, one of the Sith. It was basically Rebels season 5. So you really need to watch Rebels if you kind of want to get all the kind of plot threads that are running through it. But yeah, it was fun. Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka was brilliant. Some really neat lightsaber choreography. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of Rebels, so I haven't watched it for that sake. The reason it's like I've not seen it, so it's just like I'm not, because I kind of, people kept on going, you got to watch Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff. So I started watching Clone Wars, and I was just like, this is boring the hell out of me, and I'm not getting anything out of it.
I had the same reaction to Clone Wars. I gave Rebels a try and actually enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it much more than Clone Wars. And I found I could happily watch Rebels without having watched all of Clone Wars. I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons, and I was still able to kind of get all the plot threads from Rebels. So yeah, but definitely with Ahsoka, there's a lot of the stuff they carry through from Rebels into the Ahsoka.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll probably watch Rebels at some point. That's why I haven't sort of gone through it, because there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that's sort of going through it. I missed. Okay, so we've done films, we've done TV, books.
One more TV show I am going to have to reference, and I'm going to mention it in my article, is Gen V.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah. I haven't watched that yet either.
Have you watched The Boys?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Love Boys is amazing. Yeah, really.
You will like. Do you know, like, The Boys was based on the graphic novel the same name by Garth Ennis. Now, when Garth Ennis was creating The Boys, one of the core elements was like, he wanted to out Preacher, basically kind of really take like the over the top nature of Preacher and just make it even more so with The Boys, and that kind of carries through in the storytelling of the Amazon Prime adoption. But what they're doing with Gen V is it's an entirely original story within the setting of The Boys. So you kind of got like these superheroes as celebrities premise, but you're telling a brilliantly new story and use it as a platform to tell entirely original stories, and it's so much better for that because you're writing stories for the medium it's intended for. Because um, the boys, I say, storyline was based on comics,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
you kind of adapted it, so it doesn't
But they
always
didn't.
translate.
Obviously, the comic books,
There's quite a deviation
there
from the
is
comics. I
there is a
was
big deviation and
yeah
stuff. Whereas like Black Noir in the comic books is a clone of
of
Homelander.
Homeland
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
But and with Gen V, they're doing something really, really good. I mean, they're tackling some really kind of contemporary themes like body image, the time they would like the trans identities, and yeah, it's just really well, powerfully written. Some fantastic writing, and it's still got all the bombast and all the overtop blood splatter of the boys. But there's a contrast of some really powerful moments, and yeah, basically, don't do another season. I'm going to riot.
Right, cool. Yeah, it's on the list to watch actually.
Yeah,
The thing is, there's lots of things that I want to watch, but I need to be in a certain mood to get into them. I want to
that's
pay
fair.
attention. I want to pay attention to them. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of sort of foreign series and films and stuff with subtitles which I want to watch, but I can't because I know I'll not pay attention and I'll just sort of get lost. So I need to be in a certain place to sort of watch them and
right frame
actually.
of mind.
Yeah, it's that sort of mind. Okay, so what about books? What have you been
Books.
reading for 2023?
Well, in all honesty, I've been mostly reading role play game books. I mean, my free time for reading has become distinctly limited. I will say that I did read A Season of Skulls by Charles Stross. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
It's a spin-off of the Laundry File series, also by Charles Stross, and it's kind of like set in the new millenniums where basically Nyarlathotep is now the prime minister.
Right.
Yeah, if basically the elder gods are coming, and the kind of one way to kind of preserve the UK is we voted in Nyarlathotep as the prime minister because you did not want to see the other guy.
All right. Okay.
And so basically, like, you have like this kind of Tuturian, Cthulhian elder statesman,
Right. Okay.
and it's completely bonkers, brilliantly, bitingly satirical, and yeah, basically got this like people living in this Code Nightmare Green situation where the Cthulhu entity is rising, and yeah, it's just basically what they're doing. They kind of take what if it Mary Poppins and meets corporate efficiency maximizations with horrifying results. It is, like I say, it's horrific and funny in exactly the same manner, but done really, really well. Because this is just because I mean, Charles Stross is a political person. He comes from the tech and hacking culture, so which is innately political, and he's still not lost any of his bite. So yeah, really well worth reading.
Okay. Well, I've had a like I say read, but I do
You
a lot.
listen.
I do audiobooks.
Yeah.
I do audiobooks now because it gives me a bit more time to get as much sort of reading inverted commas in as possible. So I've got an Audible account. So um I've gone through loads this year. There's Sharp's Command, which have just sort of kind of there's basically been two new Sharp books out. If you're into your Bernard Cornwell Sharp
Ooh.
thing, so there's been one was last year, one just came out this year, and they were enjoyable. There's been a new book called Pax, which is a sort of Tom Holland, who's a history one of my favorite historians. He has released one, and it's basically about the Roman emperors after Nero. So it's basically at the end. So
Okay.
he's got a lot of books on Roman history. So he's got ones which is the foundation of Rome up to Augustus. Then you've got one called Dynasty, which is from Augustus all the way up to Nero, and then you've got this one that's come out, which is after Nero. I think we're on Trajan at the minute, I think, from what I think, which is good. Then you had End in the Death Volume 1 and 2. One came out at the start of the year, and two came out just recently in the last couple of months, which is a Horus Heresy. It's basically coming to the very end of the whole thing. So if you're into your Warhammer, what's 30k, not 40k, but if you're into the Horus Heresy type of things, which is really good, so like that's one good thing that Games Workshop do well is their lore, and
Yeah.
this is the culmination of. There's like 60 odd books, so there's like 50 odd of them for the general sort of Horus Heresy. Then there's the Siege of Terror books, and we're on book like the 10th or the 11th. So there's going to be 3 books for potentially 3 books for the End of the Death, which is the last book of the series. And so they were really good. There's a lot of stuff about the Emperor and stuff, which is like, oh, that's kind of cool. So if you're into your sort of your Warhammer type stuff, definitely worth a read, or a listen as I do them on audio. What else came out? I did one when I was
one other book came out that I expect everyone to have read, which is Deviant Leisure and Offensive Deviance, came out in early this year, featuring a chapter by me about the psychological benefits of role-playing games.
All right, okay, yes, I forgot about that. Yeah,
peer-reviewed academic journal, and yes, referencing every bit of information in my chapter was an absolute headache because I've never done it before. But yeah, it was something really pleased to have done. It's apparently ruffled a few feathers, so I'm happy with that.
That's all good. What have they ruffled? What's being said?
I don't know exactly what happened, but basically Rosie Garland, who is amongst other things a poet and the lead singer of the March Violets, I met up with her at a goth night, one of the gigs of the March Violets in Nottingham in October, and we had a bit of a chat and said yes, we've ruffled a few feathers, so mission accomplished.
Okay.
It was very unorthodox in its approach. It's kind of like everything was peer reviewed, but it wasn't done in the typical dry, textbook style. Because you had some poetry in there. You had an autobiography of someone's life based on their own experiences within various subcultures, and you had my stuff, which is like a more traditional article.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was it's I was happy with it. It's ruffled a few feathers, and then kind of every now and then we bounce ideas off doing a sequel.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Where can people get it? Where can people read it?
Okay, Google Offensive Deviance and Deviant Leisure and Offensive Deviance, a Transgressor Compendium by Dr. Ian Lamond and Rosie Garland. Google it and you should be able to find it. It's a bit pricey because, like I said, it's for a university research textbook, but you should be able to find it from a library or
nice. Cool.
It's been
So that's your book of 2023, is it there, Pete?
I can't say it's my book. That's somewhat
shameless self-promotion.
A bit biased, but no, I think my book would be actually Charles Stross. But yeah, I could not plug Deviant Leisure because I'm proud of it.
Yeah, good. For me, my favorite book it's another sci-fi type series. It's called it's called the book's called Lightbringer. It's the 7th book in a series by Pierce Brown. It's called the Red Rising series. So you've basically got it's on its 3rd trilogy, I think, at the minute. So you've basically got the first one, which is the Red Rising trilogy. Then you've got the next one. So there's 6 books have come out previously. This is the 7th book, so it's the third part of the trilogy. It's really, really, really good.
So the first trilogy was the Red Rising. It's going to be a sequel called the White Rising, and then followed by the Blue Rising, so you could red, white, and blue.
So the reason they've got it, the reason it's called Red. So basically, if you're not being into the whole thing, you have a society has been broken into castes, and they're ranked by their color. So reds are like the lowest of the low. They are like
so
miners.
It's spectrum.
Yeah, spectrum. Yeah, and you've got golds, who are the top. So you've got golds, and then you've got silvers, who are slightly below, and you've got bronzes, who are like the admin and things like that. And then you've got like obsidians, who are like basically Norse sort of like fighters and stuff like that, and you have all these different blues who are generally like soldiers and stuff like that, and greys and things. You got all the different colors of different sort of kind of things. Pinks are like prostitutes and stuff like that, and it's like you've got all these different sort of kind of classes, and it's basically about this guy called Darrow who is a Martian miner who basically gets wrapped up in this sort of kind of this revolution to sort of kind of take down the gold thing, and he gets changed into gold to sort of take them down from the inside. And so the first book is
you just basically quoted the synopsis for the video game Red Faction, Matt.
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't get turned into a super being, but yeah, so he sort of gets it's weird because he's Irish as well. So if you listen to it in audiobook, it's got a very to start off with, because you know the Reds are sort of kind of like there's even a reference to it. They've come from Ireland and stuff like that and stuff. But it's like, you know, there's a lot of different things. But basically, he gets caught up in this sort of revolution. He gets changed into this what they call a gold, so his accent changes, and he's a lot more powerful and things like that. And it's about, and then he becomes what they call the Reaper, and he becomes this basically general who helps sort of kind of overthrow the society, is what they call the sort of kind of the gold society. But the first book is like Hunger Games, so I was like, I'm not going to like this because I'm not sure I like that sort of kind of Hunger Games sort of thing. But it like you got to give it a go. It's like it's basically the start of him in school, being young and becoming a gold, meeting people who then carry on throughout the books to be a part of the revolution and sort of the whole civil war that happens. And it sort of evolves as each book goes on. It gets better and better and better, and like the battles are just amazing. There's some amazing, like some of the best battle scenes you're gonna get in books. It's just so good, and it's like there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's very sort of backstabby. Loads of things happen that you just don't expect to happen, and it's just sort of, it's not as brutal maybe as say Game of Thrones, where people you like get killed in it, but it's not like, you know, Darrow's the main character and stuff, but it's like it does them in sort of different ways, and it has different points of view. Like the first 3 books, it's mainly Darrow and about his sort of the revolution effectively, and then the next ones it has them broken down into different sort of like points of view, and then you have some point of view from people who aren't on the revolution, you know, in the rising side. And it's really good. It's like they've got some really good characters, and in the most recent one, there's a character in it who you kind of understand. He's called Lysander, and Lysander is basically, I can't, you know, without ruining things, but he's a gold, but he's like the grandson of the old empress who got overthrown by the Rising, and he sort of, but he's been a part of, but due to one of like Cassius, a guy called Cassius, he takes him in, and he's sort of like he was a gold, but then he sees the side of the Rising, and they take Lysander in, and then Lysander sort of takes himself off and becomes like this new sort of, wants to become the new emperor and stuff. And it's like this guy, you're like, I kind of like him, and then there's a bit in it where you're just like, I fucking hate you, Lysander. Like I remember, like I'm listening to the bit and something happens which I'll not ruin for you, but I'm just like, fuck you, Lysander, fuck you. I was like, no. But it's really, really good. Like the whole series, like all the books, each book gets better and better. It's sort of like, it's like it starts off, it is kind of very Hunger Gamesy, and you know, if you can get past that, you know, it does, because it's good in its own right. It's enjoyable, but each book after that it's like, you know, Roman Civil War stuff, but it's in space. There's loads of stuff going on, lots of sort of kind of subplots and stuff going on, and it, you know, each book is just outstanding. They're just really good, and he's a really good writer. So yeah, that's definitely my book for 2023, because it was just when I stopped my car, I went, fuck you, Lysander. I was like, no. I said to my boss, he got me into him, I was like, I fucking hate that guy, why did he do that? I like that character, I don't like him anymore. But yeah, so it's definitely worth a go. What next? Games. Obviously, you've had a lot of RPGs. What's been
a lot of RPGs. Well, we're talking like video games or TTRPGs.
Either or.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've, like I said, got an Xbox Series X for Christmas last year, so I've been playing a lot of that. So I played Cyberpunk a lot.
A lot. Have you got the new expansion for it?
Oh yes, I got this Phantom Liberty DLC as soon as it came out. I was having a really bad day, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy this and I'm going to play it. And I'm just, yeah, it was just great. It adds so much more to it. And with the V2.0, I'm sorry, V2.1 update,
Yep.
yeah, it's basically, this is the game that we were promised when it was released
Yeah, yeah.
3 years ago. And the fact it's taken 3 years to get here is an argument in and of itself. I mean, it should never have been released back in December 2020 when it was. It wasn't finished, but they wanted to kind of get it in for the Christmas 2020 because Cyberpunk 2020 is the game it's based on. But yeah, it's you to fully appreciate the game, you need to play it on a current generation console. So we're talking PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. You want a really powerful PC because otherwise it's not going to. It's so much game in there,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's well worth it. It's a brilliant game. Also been playing Control. I love Remedy games. I love what they do. I think they've done some fantastic video games like with Max Payne and Alan Wake. So I'm also looking forward to Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Get to play that. So yeah, I really enjoyed Control, and it's all set in the same universe as Alan Wake as well. So that was quite neat. And I've picked up
Did you play
Red Dead.
Starfield?
Yeah, I played Starfield. It's basically described as Skyrim in space.
Yeah. I got
And
quite bored of that pretty quickly, to be
I,
fair.
I, I, I mean, I actually uninstalled it today to put on Red Dead Redemption 2 because I've never played it before.
Okay, right, okay, cool.
And I kind of played it, and it was just.
There wasn't a lot to it. Like it sort
I
of.
think the problem is they kind of want to put across the fact that space is big.
Yeah.
Mind-bogglingly big. You might think it's a long way to the corner shop, but that's just peanuts to space, to quote Douglas Adams. But in the process of making space feel big in Starfield, they've also made it kind of boring, which is true of space because you use space. You go to the moon, that takes a long time to get there. It takes a long time to get to the moon. So imagine kind of going to another planet, another star system. And so you kind of can have it all filled with stuff. Because then it's kind of get filled. Well, where's the stuff in the middle of nowhere doing nothing? So it's a kind of I love sci-fi, and like if they'd done something more like Mass Effect, that might have been a bit more elegantly done.
Yeah, I think they brought it out because obviously Star Citizen, Cloud Imperium Games, who my friend works for, Manchester, but
I've chatted, yeah. I mean,
they
Star Citizen in and of itself is a weird thing because it's not out yet. It's not been formally released, and yet they're still kind of saying, "Oh, do you want to buy this for the game?" Like,
yeah. They've got in the offices. They've just got in the my friends just like my friend was my friend. He's married to the girl he works there.
yeah.
So he's my friend, but like he was showing me some of the pictures of their office. It looks like a spaceport and stuff like that. They've done all kinds of crazy stuff, and it just looks amazing. But I was like, so that's where all the Kickstarter money goes to. But they have so like they've got betas and stuff, so I've watched videos of people playing Star Citizen, but it's still counted they're basically it's not going to be released until it's done, which
Which is good.
Which is one of
Which is
those
good.
things. It's like you kind of want that to happen. That being said, it was 2012, I think, when it first was kickstarted. But they still sell things, and you can
But
still.
to be fair, though, I mean, Cyberpunk was first announced in 2012 and was launched incomplete in 2020. I mean, well,
See, this is
there was it still needed develop. It still needed like book checking and further development to kind of get refined to the point where it is now, which is 3 years later.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they like you said, they rushed that because they wanted to have it out in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think the one good thing about Cloud Imperium, as much as it's probably frustrating for the longest Kickstarter that ever did live, is that they're trying to make sure that when they release it, it works properly and it's sort of doing what it said and was sold. They are releasing, and I think this is one of the reasons Starfield got rushed, because they're releasing Squadron 42, which is basically a single player version of Star Citizen,
Yeah,
and it looks amazing. Like I've seen some of the video for it, and if it does half of what it shows, it's gonna blow Starfield out of the water. Like it's just like super impressive, and I think that's one of the reasons they sort of pushed it forward, because they wanted to make sure they got out before they had to compete with
yeah, that makes
that,
sense. I
which
mean,
looks.
I got it in Game Pass, so
Yeah,
I have.
exactly. I got it in Game Pass. So I got it in Game
Mm.
Pass. I installed it. I played some of the missions. I just got a bit bored of wandering around, sort of not really doing very much, and spent most of my time finding glitches so I could build starships. Built some starships, and then just got bored and haven't really played
Yeah.
it since. The Starship Builder's pretty cool. Like, and I quite enjoyed having a starship, but I didn't even get past the first mission. I literally just wandered around and did my own thing. I didn't really do any of the missions and stuff like that. I sort of did the odd one.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, that's kind of like the whole kind of best leader thing. Like, don't go anywhere, do anything.
yeah,
And like the mission, the core storyline's there for you to do if you want to, but you can just wander off and become a space pirate, or go there and go mining, or go there and kill everyone.
yeah. It's there's a lot to it. It's not. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed doing what I was going to do, but it didn't really do loads for me. It didn't keep me engaged. And so I quite quickly sort of went off. A lot of my friends did the same. Like we were all talking about building ships and stuff like that, and doing certain things. And then the talk within about a month just died down completely. There wasn't
Yeah,
really anybody playing it very much anymore. Um, and there was a thing on the news how the modders, because there's a lot of modding community, they stopped making it a multiplayer version of it because it's boring. They said we're not going to make it anymore because it's boring. So yeah,
when
it's
even the modders are calling it boring, you know there's something fundamentally wrong.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's a game maybe if you pick up now and again, you can sort of like
Yeah,
it's sort of enjoyable enough. But yeah, I'm glad it was on Game Pass, because
yeah.
I I don't
You'd
think
be, yeah, you
annoyed.
wouldn't have paid for it.
Yeah, I don't think I would
Well,
pay
but
for
to be
it.
honest, we did pay for it through the Game Pass.
Yeah. True. Um, as for other games, I don't think I've played many. I'm trying to think of other computer. I played Blood Bowl 3 when it came out briefly, but I play
Yeah,
it in real life, so it's like in physical
yeah.
miniature form. So I sort of kind of played that briefly. Trying to think what else came out that I sort of played. I've my Xbox has been completely um neglected. Like me and my brother play a lot of Age of Empires 4
Yeah,
online and stuff, but yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 obviously was a big release, and
yeah,
it's done phenomenally well for a game that, like, I remember this time last year when its beta came out, and that me and my brother had a few games of it, and it was enjoyable enough. But it's like it's massive now, and
yeah,
people are basically saying this is what you do with a game. This is how you make a game. You wait until it's done properly. You maybe have a beta, but you wait until it's properly released. You don't rush things, because when you rush it, things go wrong. And so they've brought out a game, and it's nearest to perfect as people want it to be. They've got some new expansions for it and stuff, and people are absolutely loving it. Like, it's all over TikTok. People are still
yeah.
talking about it now.
I've not played it yet. I want to play it. When it
Yeah,
comes out on the Xbox, I'm going to play it.
yeah. I'm not a massive fan of turn-based combat, to be fair. Like, I remember and I thought it was going to be the same thing. Like, there was a game on the PlayStation, and I think on the Xbox as well, called Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, I think it was called.
Yes,
And
that's
it was
right.
kind of like a Diablo type thing where you go
Yeah,
around. Obviously, Diablo was a game that I played. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards, but it was kind of like a Diablo type game, and that's what I was thinking. And when I was like, oh, Diablo 3, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 must be like that, but it wasn't. It's a turn-based sort of combat type thing, but it's effectively Dungeons and Dragons in a computer game. Like, it
yeah,
has everything you can do. And so I was like, oh, I'm already playing a Dungeons and Dragons
yeah,
campaign. I don't know if I really want to do a sort of get myself into a Dungeons and Dragons game when I'm already kind of technically playing a Dungeons and Dragons game. So I've not gone too deep on that. That being said, I did play Diablo 4 quite a lot when it came out. It was what kept me going when I was traveling, when I was over in Thailand and stuff. I had it on my. I managed to sort of get it onto my my Steam Deck, and yeah, it was enjoyable. Though the annoying thing about Diablo is they brought in seasons. So as much as you can get up to a point and then you have to start again, and that's the one thing that I hate is having to start new characters and stuff. I'm not one of those players who likes to level up loads of different characters. I have my one guy. I like to max him out and sort of play all the storyline stuff. So basically, I got to Diablo 4. I got my barbarian all the way up to where I needed to be. I killed Lilith. I dealt with Lilith, and then I stopped playing it because I didn't want to have to start again. Because if you want to go do the seasonal stuff, which is the new servers, you can carry on moving around the world on your own, but most of the new players are going to go into these seasonal things, and I didn't want to start again. This is I don't know if I've got it into me. It's a game maybe I could pick up now and again and maybe sort of play, because it's hack and slash is pretty good, and I like the hack and slash type thing, but yeah, as soon as I sort of finish the storyline, and that's me in general actually when it comes to computer games, as soon as the storyline's gone,
you want story.
Yeah, I'm just not
that's
really
the same for me.
Yeah, I sort of like there's so many games like it gets to the point where I will neglect storyline parts because I know as soon as the storyline's over, I'll lose interest in the game. So I try and do sort of other things, and then I'll do the storyline. But as soon as that hits the end, I'm not the sort of guy who carries on with it and stuff. I'll maybe carry on for a bit, but then I just sort of lose interest and that's it and stuff. So, but yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 seems to be doing quite well. I haven't put a lot of time into it. So
I'm waiting for it to come to Xbox, and then I'm going to mainline it.
It's on Xbox.
Is it?
Is it? Oh. I'm pretty sure it got moved to. I'm sure they're on consoles because it was PC originally. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend said he had it on PlayStation. Baldur's Gate 3, Xbox.
It is. Yes,
yeah, it is.
At that price, I can't.
It's not that
price,
and it's not on
Game Pass.
It's not on Game Pass, and they said they wouldn't put it on Game Pass because it's so huge. But yeah, it's on. I've got it on. I've got it on Steam, but I might sort of think about it. I got a voucher from work, a 50 quid voucher from work, so I might even think about sticking it on there and stuff, even for me and when AE comes over to sort of play a game or something. But we'll see. Okay, so that's computer games. What about board games? What about your RPGs and stuff? What have you been playing?
RPGs.
What have you got recently? What have you got recently?
I've literally just got the Walking Dead roleplay game. Can you see it up there? Walking Dead.
Well, I can see the One Ring. I can see Aliens. I can see all the role-playing games from Free League that ever did exist.
Yeah, the One Ring, literally just there. Yeah. So I've got the Walking Dead role-playing game is basically the Walking Dead, the role-playing game, and it's really nicely done. It's it got zombies, obviously, because it's the Walking Dead, but it's done as more environmental threat rather than as actual enemy NPCs.
Okay.
So that's it moves the direct confrontation away from the zombies and more between the people.
Okay. Well, that's that's the sort of like thing
which is exactly what The Walking Dead is.
Yeah.
The focus is never on zombies, it's always on the people. I mean, as I think as Robert Kirkman once said, The Walking Dead is like a soap opera with zombies.
All right, yeah.
So yeah, that's been really nicely done. I'm currently reading Aliens Building a Better World, which is a source book expansion for the Aliens role-playing game, and that is fantastic. It's very much on the style of the Prometheus and Sulaco, Prometheus and Covenant films. So you're looking at like the colonization elements of it, and there's kind of scientific colonization, and that's really nicely done, really beautifully done. It's a lot. I mean, you're talking about a lot of games coming out at the moment, and there's too many games.
There's too many games.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to ever complain about reading role because I like the lore they bring into it, especially within the Aliens Building Better Worlds book, because they bring in a lot of kind of tangential or referential elements to it. From the films and from the books, like they kind of like one little nugget that drop into it is like, there's this kind of documentary called Star Beast in
Right.
the alien setting, which is meant to kind of reveal the truth about Wayland Yutani's biogenetic uh, warfare projects. Now, for the alien fans out there, Star Beast was the original name for Alien before it was released.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
The vision script was titled Star Beast,
Ah.
but then they just changed it to Aliens. So, but now in the role playing, you got it's got this kind of like inflammatory documentary expo called Star Beast, which is just like they didn't need to. It didn't need to be there. Like, it didn't need to be called that, but they did, and it's just a nice little nod to say, yes, we are fans too.
All right. Okay. Um. For me, I've been hammering, like, it's not a 2023 board game or tabletop
Mm.
game. Epic Battles Waterloo, which is a black powder Napoleonic epic game, so it's like 15 mil. Almost. Yeah. Yeah, the Prussian starter box. People might be able to see it, but yeah, Epic Battles Waterloo. And like I'm hammering that at the minute. It's so good.
Yeah,
Like the rules are like the rule book's a bit. It's very historical, like because it's a historical war game. It's very much like you make up the decisions yourself. So they give you a
yeah,
loose idea of how to do things, and you sort of kind of figure it out. So because I come from Warhammer and stuff, I'm very used to things being set in certain ways and stuff. So I built a spreadsheet to sort of kind of work out. But the game, I'm loving it. Like really, really enjoying it. But my big thing for for 2023 is Legions Imperialis, which is basically epic. So if you were a kid of the 80s or the 90s
oh,
and you liked epic, which was basically Warhammer
Space
40k,
Marine,
but really
and
really really small.
yeah,
It was 6 miller that made it. Now they're now eight
yeah,
millers, and people want people to see sort of this what it is. So it's basically everything that I wanted brought, like, and I've been wanting this game for like forever. Like I was a massive Epic fan. I loved Epic. And I bought a load of old school Epic stuff because I was like, oh, they're not going to bring it out. My friends like, they're never going to bring it back. And then it brought Adeptus Titanicus out again, and I was just like, ooh, they've brought that back. They might bring Epic back. So I was saying to my friends, yeah, they're definitely going to bring Epic back. Like, they're not bringing Epic back. It's not going to happen. I was like, well, they've got Adeptus Titanicus. Why wouldn't they just bring, miniatures of
yeah,
tanks and stuff? It just makes no sense. And like one of my friends was like, yeah, they're never going to do that. I was at Warhammer Fest and they said they're never going to do this. And for years he was like, it's never going to happen. And then I was like, 2023, it's 100% going to happen because they brought out this sort of trailer and it had like lots of guys running, infantry running around. It had titans and stuff, and I was like, "This is happening. It's going to happen." I was like, "It's not going to happen. I bet you anything, it's not going to happen." And then it did. It happened. They brought it out, and I was like, "Oh my god, vindication! Yes!" So I went balls deep. I bought loads. I love it. I'm sitting here currently. After this, I'm probably going to go and cut out some sprues and put some small tanks together and stuff. But yeah, and the game, like I've not played a game yet, but from what I've seen from battle reports and stuff, it's turnabout, not turnabout, it's alternating activations, which is a
oh yeah,
massive bugbear for me when it comes to Warhammer 40k. In Warhammer 40k is I do everything, you do everything. In and you can literally wipe out full units within your turn,
yeah,
and the other guy can't do anything about it. And I hate that. I think it's one of the worst mechanics. It worked back in the day when it was a small skirmish game and you
yeah,
couldn't do that much damage, but now when there's the fact that you can do a lot more in this game, again it's turnabout, it's very chess based. It's like, if I do that, well then you might do that, but if I do that, then you might do that. And I love alternating activations, and I think it's amazing. And they do alternate, which was like Epic, like, well, Space Marine
yeah.
back in the day. So yeah, I'm buzzing about it and stuff. I'm seeing if I can build enough so I can bring it back home to Northern Ireland with me at Christmas, so I can sort of play it with my brother.
Nice.
But yeah, it's I'm so glad they brought it out. Like it's got to the point where my sort of 40k things gone completely down because I'm just zoned into doing epic
Yeah.
and stuff. I was like,
Epic.
yes, epic. It's all about epic, and so
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, I'm really sort of looking forward to that. I've got a million other Kickstarters still, filtering through. I've got the Rome Total War one that's meant to come out, Stellaris one that's meant to come out. I've got what else has come through recently? War Room came through. Um, Europa Universalis came through. There's loads of stuff that's come through, which is probably going to get sold because I can't. I need to stop buying.
You moved on since then.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just like I get sort of like shiny things happen, and
Yeah.
then I just sort of like ooh, and I need to stop that. This was the one thing that I told myself I definitely was going to buy because I was
Yeah.
like, it's what I've been wanting my entire life. So it's just like I'm not sort of. That's fine. I'm happy with that. But like all these, I'm trying to put a reduction on the amount of Kickstarters I do
Yeah.
because I spend way too much money on board games and stuff like that. So yeah, so after this I'm gonna go and sit there and build some toy tanks and little baby tanks and stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
For 2023, it's not been the best year I think we've had for things, but yeah, it's there's been a
But we
lot.
talked an hour and a half about all the fantastic stuff that's been out there. I think we are in kind of like a renaissance of geek.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I think we're spoiled for choice. I think that's maybe
Yeah.
what it is. I think with the advent of streaming and the advent
Yeah.
of sort of like obviously fast internet and things like that, and the fact that you've got things like Kickstarter and stuff, so you can get games. Instead of having this one game which you would play forever and then you wait the next game. You've got so much choice, and I think with that choice, it kind of dilutes things slightly because you've got so much to go on to that you can't
Yeah.
sort of be obsessed about one thing because there's so much different stuff coming out. But yeah, you're right. There is a lot. We've just been spoiled for choice, I think, and that's
Yeah,
sort of
we are being spoiled. I mean, we are all geeks now. I mean, I think it was as a famous person once said, like, we are all geeks now. We've all got our own passions, our own interests, and yeah,
Yeah.
we won. The geek have inherited the earth.
with the geek have inherited the earth, indeed. Okay, right. Well, that's going to be us for 2023.
Yeah.
We will be back in the new year. Hopefully, we'll get some more guests on. We might even
I've
get
got
some. Sorry,
got
Sophie.
some. I was going to say I've already got some guests lined up for January. I've got Chris Shepperson, RPG developer, coming on in the new year. Got lots of other people lined up that want to say been asking to come on. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice. So we've got guests coming on. We'll hopefully try and get some more of the Geek Pride guys because we've got a podcast chat which nobody comes on. And we used to have like John Joe and Mark and stuff like that, but they don't come on. So we're see if we can get some more representation until these two ugly mugs that you see on a
Speak for
week.
yourself, Matt.
But yeah, so we'll see you in 2024.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for everybody who's been listening in 2023.
Thanks for the likes.
Thanks
for
for the likes.
subscribing. Thanks for the comments. Actually, for that one, tell us what would you like?
Yeah.
Who would you like on the podcast? Give us some ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Give us we've got, if you want to drop us an email, it's content@geek-pride.co.uk. You can DM us on our socials, get in contact, let us know what you would like to hear, any topics you would like us to talk about, or if there's any specific guests that we've had on before or would like to sort of have on again, then let us know. But apart from that, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Yeah. And for tonight, I've been Matt Geary. Oh, actually, no, wait. Pete. We've got to do it before we go, right? We've got to do our final 20 questions sort of thing before we go between me, because 2024 before 2024. I've got a really, Wayne's World, right? Wayne's World. So my one's going to be Wayne's World. I'm gonna have to guess a character from Wayne's World. And let's see. So stop watch. Okay, 60 seconds. Wayne's World. Go.
Are you male?
I am male.
Okay. Do you have long hair?
No.
Are you in the first film?
No.
Are you in the second film?
Yes.
Oh, this is one I've only watched once, about 30 years ago.
Oh, Pete, come on, man.
Okay. Jim Morrison.
No.
Okay. You don't have long hair. I'm good. Honestly, Matt, I'm sorry. I've not watched this film in about 20, 30 years.
Pete, you wouldn't have got it anyway. I was going for Jeff, who is Cassandra's father, where he has the fight in the warehouse with them. You know,
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Jeff. So I thought I'd go a bit obscure, but you've ruined it, Pete. You've ruined it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I've ruined everything.
You've ruined it. You've ruined it.
I
All right,
ruined it.
give me one then.
Oh, okay. Okay. I've just been listening to some Red Dwarf, so I'm going to go Red Dwarf.
Oh God. Okay, Red Dwarf. Okay, it's Red Dwarf. 60 seconds. All right. Are they main crew?
Good question. Yes.
All right. So it's okay. Are they male?
Kind of.
Kind. Is it Crichton?
No.
Okay. Is it Cat?
No.
Is it Dwayne Dibley?
Nope.
Are they? Oh, wait a minute. Are they hologram?
No, not a hologram.
Okay, so they're male. They're technically a part of the main crew.
Yeah.
Not Cat. They're not. The list is Lister. I'm gonna go through the main crew.
No.
Okay.
Main crew.
So it's not gonna be Rimmer. It's not gonna be Lister. It's not Crichton. It's not Cat. Oh, is it Holly?
Yes, it's Holly. I was tempted to be really obscure and say Queeg 500.
Right. Okay.
But I thought that kind only appeared once and was also Holly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah, nicely done, sir.
Well, there you go. That's it. 2023. We're outies. We're done.
We're taking some time off to chill out, relax, enjoy some Christmas spirit, and just chill out with the family a bit.
Yeah. Cool.
Spoil the kids.
Yep. So yeah, have yourselves a great Christmas and New Year. We'll catch you in 2024, everybody. For me, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been my co-host, Peter Ray Allison.
Good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and remember, the silly season is soon be over. We're back to normal in 2024.
Bye.